Hey, it's the champ in the house. Salute to the champ.
Hey, dude, how you doing?
How you doing there, man? This is big, man. You don't know how much this means to me to sit here and shoot questions at the champ, at the champ.
All right.
Undefeated. So, yeah, I put a couple of questions together. I teach a defensive style of fighting, which is pretty much all defense, how to get out the way, how to block, how to move, how to slip. So a lot of the some of the questions are based around that to see how you feel about defense and boxing and stuff. So my first question would be, what made you want to start boxing? Like, what was the itch that made you want to lace up?
Well, my brother Leon, he had went to the gym, and he came home and he told me, "Hey, Mike, I went to a boxing gym," and I think the very next day I started some stuff with him, and he put some of them boxing moves on me, and I went the very next day to learn how to do some of that stuff myself.
So pretty much he was putting it on you, so you went to go get some of that so you could put it back on him.
There you go.
There you see that. That's true brotherly love there. That's real brotherly love.
Yeah, that was brotherly love.
Yeah, that's how we show our love.
All right. Well, he showed enough showed me, and I went to learn some of that stuff the very next day.
You said, I ain't sitting around waiting around. You're gonna just be putting this jab on me. I'm gonna figure this out.
That's right. Absolutely.
So he brought the boxing into the house first. Then he brought.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Wow!
Yes, he
did. Salute to that man. R.I.P. How many amateur fights did you have before you started boxing?
Oh, before I started as a pro?
Yeah, as a pro. Before you turned pro.
I think I had about maybe 30 or 20 or something like that.
30 or 20 or so. Do you believe that having an amateur career is necessary to have a professional career? Because you see guys like Deontay Wilder, who had a very, very, he had like a handful of amateur fights and then went into the Olympics. Do you think that is necessary to have a good amateur background?
It would help. Having some experience in the ring, it would help you. It would help you a lot. And then you'd be ready to go into the Olympics and also going into the pros.
So that's a stepping process that you really don't want to skip, because I got into a lot of conversations about jumping into boxing without an amateur career. And I believe the same thing. That's the reason why Deontay looks the way he does, because he did a big amateur career. But even though he did the Olympics, he didn't have a big amateur pedigree. So, he was more like fighting over boxing, because he didn't have it. Next question. Even though you went undefeated in your earlier fights, what do you think changed in boxing that made it to where a lot of these young boxers just want to be undefeated, like where they want to be like 36-0? Do you believe that was the Mayweather effect? Because back in the day, having a couple of losses didn't really mean that much. Like, you were still celebrated. But nowadays, they want you to be 5-0, 10-0. So what do you think changed to bring that about?
I couldn't say. I couldn't say, because in any kind of experience, I think it's good to have. But, being, 20-0 is I guess it would help, it'd help you in the ring.
Yeah, it definitely looks good.
Yeah, it sure do. Yeah, it'll help you out there.
It definitely looks good to have that 0 on the back, but it seems like a lot of young fighters now are really bent on having that 0. Like, they take one loss and you never see them again.
Yeah, that could help.
To where the older fighters got back in there and they kind of grinded it out. Like, they'll take a loss. Like Sugar Ray Robinson, he got you in the rematch, which was one of his big things that, people kind of overlook, that even though he lost, he kind of got you in the rematch. You know, but with these young kids nowadays, everybody want a zero at the back of their name.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to start, but a lot of times you can't get that zero.
You can't keep that zero.
Yeah, a lot of times you can't keep that zero because if you stay in the ring long enough, somebody gonna beat you.
Somebody gonna beat you. That's right. So, how did you get the name Spinx? I mean, how did you get the name Spinx Jinx? The Jinx. How did you get the name Jinx? Where did the Jinx come from? I know.
Where my boxing promoter, he just tagged that Jinx on the Spinx.
Oh, okay. Well, that right hand was the Jinx.
Yeah, it sure was.
It jinxed a lot of people's nights. So
that's right. Yeah, I think because me and Leon, we did throw overhand rights.
Yes.
So he just dubbed us Spinx Jinx. He dubbed that punch the Spinx Jinx.
When did you know the right hand was a killer? Like what like when did you know your right hand was the one to take you home? Because it was a bazooka. It was a bazooka, and you threw it, and you could throw it from all angles. That was the crazy. Like you had
right. Well, you know, for some reason, Leon and myself, back in St. Louis, we always kind of like threw that overhand right, you know, to help us out in times of need.
I like that. The overhand right in times of need. That should be on the
times of need. That's what we put it on them, and I think that's where my promoter he got it from, because Leon and myself, we always threw the overhand right. So he just dubbed it the Spinx Jinx.
Oh man, well he did that. He pulled that one right out the truth, because it was definitely a jinx. Right hand.
It was. Yes, it was.
That was a battering ram.
And the thing was in the Olympics, I hit my opponent with an overhand right, and I think Leon came in the ring after me. And he hit his opponent with the overhand right too. Knocked him down. I knocked mine down with the overhand right, and Leon knocks his down. I think Leon knocks his down and out with the overhand right.
Oh man, there's a lot of people that don't give credit to the overhand. Like, you know, you hear they throw hooks from the back, but I'm an overhand lover. I love the overhand. Like you said, I'm gonna use what you just said in times of need.
That's right. That's right.
In times of need, go to that overhand.
In times of need,
I'm gonna.
That's right. Sure, you're right. It sure enough comes in handy.
Yes, it does. No,
it would help you. It would help you in a tight spot. It would help you. It'd help you a lot.
Well, I seen you threw it up close. You threw it from a distance. It didn't seem like you didn't really. There was no range that you couldn't launch it from. So I could see why.
That's right. Absolutely.
You had every range covered.
That's right. As soon as if I saw a slot, I try to throw it and hit him with it. Yes, I did.
Oh, you let him go. With me, you know, I teach defensive boxing. So what would you say is some of your best defensive qualities that you use in the ring? And how important is it to be defensive responsible?
One thing is keeping my hands up.
God, the old tried and true method.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta keep your hands up, and you know, block some punches.
Yeah,
and that will sure enough help you out in the ring, because a lot of guys, they drop their hands, and a lot of guys get knocked down and out.
Yeah. That was something you said about blocking. I see you definitely used a lot of you use blocking within your fight. How important do you believe blocking to be in boxing?
Yeah, it's very important to block. You know, have your hands up. You know, because you can block shots
to catch punch,
and also, I mean, after he say. I get a left hook on the right side, on the right hand glove, and then I can throw a punch. As he touched me on the glove, I can come off off that touching my glove with an overhand right or a punch that would help me out.
Whoa! So basically, right off the block, you can
That's
come
right.
with the counter. So at that point, you don't even have to see the punch.
There
Once
you
you
go.
feel it, you just let go.
There you go. That's it. That's it.
Oh man, that's the science. That's the science right there. Now we talking science and math, baby. That's the science of math, to catch and give. Okay. 52 blocks is a defensive system created by Black fighters. Do you believe that's what Black fighters add on to boxing was? Do you believe Black fighters fight more defensively?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know the guy that taught Leon and myself how to fight.
Mm-hmm.
He he was a good coach, and I think a lot of times he told us, he had us throwing punches after we get hit on the glove.
Oh, very good.
He would touch us on the glove, and then we would come back with the punch.
So it was like touch and go, made like a sensitive type of thing. Oh, that's awesome.
That's right.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
With Spinx, with the Spinx name being a family of boxing, do you believe fighting is a genetic thing? Do you believe, because with Corey Spinx, your brother, do you believe that fighting can be a genetic thing, that it is something that you can pass on to your kids, or is it more of a knowledge thing that you have to give them the knowledge?
Yeah, you got to give them the knowledge, but you can also you can pass it on, I think.
So it's more of a knowledge thing than like a genetic thing, like with Roger Mayweather, and Floyd. Do you believe there's any genetics in that, or is that just the knowledge that they had to give to Floyd?
Yeah, you got. I think you got to teach. Give a guy some pointers on just how to do it, and sometimes they catch on to it just like that, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah. So more of a knowledge thing over a genetic thing.
There you go.
That's what
I would think so too.
Okay. So even though that right hand was a bazooka, I seen you knock out people with a lead uppercut. So what was some of your favorite combinations that you're like your go-to combinations?
Well, the one that we've taught was that the jab, the right hand, and the left hook, and the left hook. Jab, right hand, left hook.
That's it.
And the thing is, you could throw the left hook from underneath, or you could throw it from the side, a side.
So throwing the left hook from underneath, more like getting under his guard instead of going around.
You go right in between the gloves and hit him on the chin with that. That's you can do it just like that. Hit him on the chin, or you can hit him on the side of the face with the left hook going up high.
Okay. Yeah, I seen you do that. I was just watching some of the highlights. I seen you sneak a left hook right in between the gloves. So that would be that would be throwing the left hook under, then opposed to throwing it around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good information. I hit Stefan Tankstead, that Norwegian that I fought. I hit him with that. I hit him with that left hook underneath, because he had his hands kind of low, and I just whipped it in there real quick.
Yeah.
and knocks him down.
Yes, I was definitely watching that one. Your jab was incredible. Would you say that is the most important punch in a fighter's arsenal, is the jab?
Yes, sir. I would say that, because our coach, he taught us how to jab, and how to jab two times, and sometimes you got to jab 3 times.
Yeah, no, you let that jab go. It's leading up to my next question, which is most people don't know that Larry Holmes was close to tying Marciano's record till he met a roadblock called Michael Spinx.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So when you was jabbing with Larry and you was winning the jab game, did you know that's when you had to fight against Larry? Because with Larry being a jabbing man, and you were totally winning the jabbing game. Like you was jabbing his face off. Is that when you knew that you could, that you was taking that fight home?
I never thought I was taking it home, but I felt, that I was getting the best of him with my jab, So, and the thing was, I had to throw it a little faster than he was throwing his, and mine was working a lot better than his. So, I just kept it up.
Yes, it was.
I just kept it up.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It was like, it seemed like when Larry was throwing one, you was throwing like 3 jabs. Like you were, you know. It seemed like when you started hitting Larry with the right hand, and you see, because it almost looked to a point that like Larry was giving up. Like I never really seen Larry looking like he was giving up on himself, but it seemed like a point in that fight that he knew the fight was lost. Would you put on, because towards the end you was starting to, it seemed like you threw everything out. You was just on them.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like you knew there was blood in the water.
Yeah. I was getting the best of him. I felt that. I was getting the best of him, and he was trying to find ways to get the best of me. But I think I had outdid him in a way.
Definitely.
Yes, I know.
Your assault towards the end was like, it just seemed like he couldn't handle the punch output. Like your punch output was phenomenal too. Like you always was game for a fight. It didn't seem like you ever lacked on stamina. It's like, what did you work on to make your stamina so great? Because it seemed like you got strong as the fight went on.
Yeah, I had a guy that had me running. I had a nutritionist. I had from out of Louisiana. He helped me. He had me running sprints. I was running sprints and things like. I mean, I was running sprints, a lot of sprints. So I had the gas. I had the gas in my tank, and I just was using it because I had never been in the ring with Larry, but I was like, I had prayed real hard that the Lord helped me win the fight. So after I prayed, I just went on ahead and did my thing.
Oh, you did your thing, all right. You did your thing. Like absolutely. You was the roadblock. You was the roadblock that Larry getting to 49-0. So you did your thing.
There you go.
You did your thing.
That's right.
And fighting on the same card as your brother who went on to beat Ali, how was that? What was that feeling like to be on the same undercard with your brother who was winning against, arguably one of the greatest heavyweights to ever step in the ring?
Yeah, well, the thing was, I just, I went in before Leon, so a lot of times when I fight before Leon, Leon, he always kind of like stole some of the things that I did in the ring, and use it and use it himself on his opponent.
So is that how?
That's what he did. That's what he did in the Olympics. When we fought in the Olympics, I fought right before Leon. Right after I got out the ring, Leon got another, and he did the same. He was doing the same thing I was doing to my opponent with some of the punches that he threw.
That's right. Well, it's true. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
That's right. Leon, he would copy off me and how I would knock my opponent down. I think I first discovered that when we fought in Germany. We went to Germany. In the amateurs, I think Leon had watched. He always came in the ring right after me. So I think Leon was watching how I tactically was hitting my opponent, and when he got in the ring, I think he tactically did the same thing.
Did y'all spar a lot against each other? Did y'all
No. I didn't spar with him a lot, but I think my coach in St. Louis, he put me in the ring with Leon one time.
Okay. So y'all really didn't spar too much and stuff like that, as far as.
No, we didn't spar too much because I was a lot lighter than Leon. I wasn't quite as heavy
as Leon.
And plus Leon was hitting. He was hitting pretty hard. so I wasn't really ready to be getting hit by Leon at the present time.
Oh man, Leon was a killer. So even as being your younger brother, he's still hitting hard. You get
Leon was a killer. Leon was sharp. He had
he was
good. Yeah, he had good defense.
Yes.
He had good defense.
Yes,
but he threw a lot of punches. That got him over. Got him over good.
Yes. No, his defense was very high. He was very defensively responsible in there, and very sharp.
But his offense was treacherous.
Yeah,
was treacherous too.
Yeah. Like y'all both had the kind of like the offense that once y'all turned it on, it was on go. Like it was go time. It's like y'all threw enough punches to keep your opponents like drowning in the offense, and then you find the right one and he's going down. So like you said, the offense was incredible.
Absolutely.
And with
that's right.
With Corey Spinx, did you work with him any? Did you work with your nephew any?
No, I never knew Corey. I never knew Corey. Corey or his other brother Daryl was boxing. I never knew.
They kept it from you.
I think they what?
I said, did they keep it from you? Was it like they didn't want you to?
No, I didn't know they were boxing. I didn't know they were boxing until I think Leon talked him into turning pro. I'm not sure, but next thing you know, they fighting as pros.
Wow. Well, Corey,
I didn't know nothing about that.
Corey had a very good high skill set though. I watched Corey a lot. I like the way he boxed. He had nice fast hands, so that was good for him. Boy, he let them. He let them. He stood up for the Spinx name. Some people don't stand up for the name. He stood up for the Spinx name.
He represented us right.
Yes, he did. Right. Yes, he did. And with being undisputed at light heavyweight and going on to face a heavyweight and win, how did that change your career after that win? Because you was already the undisputed light heavyweight. Now you're going up there challenging a heavyweight, and winning, and that hasn't been done in so many years. Like, how did that change your career at that time or your life at that time with that win?
Well, I think I got looked at with a little more respect.
Yes, sir. Put some respect on your name.
From guys, but the thing was, I had to fight after I beat Larry. I had to fight. I was a heavyweight man, so I had to do fight heavyweight, and it was kind of tough because them guys were hitting pretty hard.
Yeah.
If they could hit me, if they could hit me.
That's right. You can't hurt, but you can't hit. That's right. But like you said,
if they can hit me, yeah.
After winning that heavyweight belt, you got to do things that the heavyweights do now.
Yes, sir. You're right about that. The thing was, I was a lot faster than the average heavyweight, so that helped me out.
Yes, I think the only other person after you to do that was Roy Jones. I think he was the only one after you to pull off that hat trick of being a heavyweight and challenging a heavyweight and winning. But you really challenged the heavyweight. Like Roy Jones challenged the heavyweight that was a heavyweight by name, but you challenged arguably one of the best heavyweights in the game and won. So I think your victory is a lot more solidified than the Roy Jones victory because you challenged the live wire, over like a John Ruiz.
Yeah, you're right about that. Larry Holmes, he was the champ.
Yes, and winning.
He was the champ, and he was kicking everybody's butt.
Yeah, 48.
Got in the ring with him.
That's right, 48-0 until he met that roadblock called Michael Spinx.
Yeah, there you go.
Situated all that stuff
Spinx,
out. Well,
so he met the Spinx Jinx.
That's right. That's why it was such a perfect name. He got that Spinx Jinx, and I'm pretty sure, all he seen was that tying up with Marciano's record, and he figured he probably had that in the bag to that Spinx Jinx in him. So, that I think that's just one of those wins that they don't talk about enough in boxing, is what you did against a live Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes that was going down. He was still a live wire when you faced him. And
he was the best. He was the best because he was beating everybody that got in the ring with him.
That's right.
So, I challenged him for his crown and took it.
Yes, you did. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and took it in the right way. Like there could be no guessing who won that fight. Like like you could see clearly when you turned on and when Larry kind of turned off. Like that fire goes out the eyes, and your fire was like, it's time. Like there was blood in the water. You was looking like a great white shark out there. I was afraid for Larry. I was like, somebody better stop the fight before you kill Larry. He's out there. He smelled the blood in the water. So
that's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Would you say that was one of your toughest fights or greatest achievements in boxing?
It wasn't the toughest because it wasn't the toughest, but it was a tough fight because Larry was a big man, and I used to spar with heavyweights though. At Joe Frazier's gym,
okay.
I would go. Joe had a guy that he had on the floor. He told me, he said, Mike, start coming in at 12 o'clock. He said, you can box some of these heavyweights. So I started going in at 12 o'clock to get some work. And I was boxing a lot of heavyweights in Joe Frazier's gym. So,
okay.
When I had to fight Larry, I was like, I'm getting ready to fight as a heavyweight. So I was like, wait a minute, man. I thought about it, and I said, you was boxing heavyweights every day in Joe's gym. So this is just another heavyweight that you going up against. So don't worry about it. You should be all right.
Well,
that's what I said. I said that to myself as I was training, getting ready to fight Larry Holmes, and then I thought about it. I said, let me think about this. I said, what should I do? And I thought, I said, you used to box heavyweights every day, so don't worry about it. You'll be all right. Just handle it the same way you handle boxing those guys in Joe Frazier's gym.
That's right.
So I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
That's right. Well, that's what I'm doing. I heard about the sparring though at Joe Frazier's gym. I heard there was gym wars. So I heard some of them gym wars was better than the actual pro fights. So they said them gym.
You're right about that. That was the heck. They had. It was a lot of guys that had ring wars in Philadelphia, and you had a lot of guys. I mean, you had a lot of gym fighters. They called them. So in a sense, when you got in the ring with a guy, they try to knock you out in the gym. They were trying to knock you out in the gym. So the thing was, when you going to any gym in Philadelphia, if you went to the gym, you had to really defend yourself from the guys that you were fighting because they tried to knock you out. They were trying to knock you out.
Wow.
And it was. I mean, you had gym wars at left and right.
Wow.
And the thing was, hold on. And Matt, his name was Matthew Franklin. You remember him?
Yes, I know him. Yes.
Matt Franklin, he came to Joe Frazier's gym to check me out. He came to check me out and see what I was about. And he got in the ring with me. And I knew, I had heard about them being a lot of gym fighters. So anyway, but I had him bleeding. I had him bleeding like a hog.
Like a stuck pig.
I had him bleeding like a hog. I was hitting him in the nose. I mean, I was hitting him everywhere in the face, but I had him bleeding. I had him bleeding real bad.
Wow.
But I saw that he was kind of tough. So he just dropped his head. He just dropped his head and started throwing body shots. But I had from the start, I had him bleeding. I had him bleeding already. But I saw that he was tough. I just saw that he was tough. But he just dropped his head, started throwing body shots, and but that didn't do the damage that I had did to him. Because I had him bleeding already.
Yeah, he was probably trying to survive at that point. He was fighting to survive.
That's what it was. Because I was a headhunter. I was a headhunter.
Yes, I seen that. I seen that. Yeah, I seen that. They talk about.
I was a headhunter.
Yes, you was.
And I had him bleed. I had him bleeding like a pig.
Yes, you was. Yes, you know, and a very accurate headhunter at that. You know, I was watching your fights. Like, you threw some body shots, but you was really trying to get everybody out of there. Like, you were definitely the headhunter. You was trying to decapitate them from the jump. And I was like, yeah, this is offense on go right here. But being in the Philadelphia gyms, did you get any training from Georgie Benton and Eddie Fitch and them?
Well, I didn't. I had Georgie. He helped me out. I had him in a couple of my fights.
Okay.
You know, in a couple of my fights, he helped me out. Was
he the wizard? Was he the wizard that they say he was? Like, you know, I heard a lot about Georgie and his information and teaching. Was he the wizard as they say he was?
Well, you know, I already knew how to fight, so Georgie, he just, you know, he helped me out with a few things, like if I had to jab a little more, or, you know, throw my right hand a little more, or stuff like that. But yeah, Georgie, he was all right. He was all right.
Yeah, he looked.
But I already knew how to fight. So the thing was, he just had to give me some pointers. Give me a few pointers. Like throw my jab a little more, throw the right hand a little more.
Yeah.
You know, that's about it.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah.
I read a lot about.
Because I had him in my corner.
Oh,
he was in my corner a few times.
That's incredible.
In the actual fight.
Wow.
He helped me out. He helped me out a little bit.
Yeah, he looked like a cool guy. Like, watching the videos of him and studying his fights. He was one of my favorite fighters when I first started watching boxing, was Georgie Benton. And watching him fight Hurricane Carter, I thought it was one of his, you know, even though he lost the fight, it still was a remarkable fight on how he used his defense against such a killer like Hurricane Carter.
Yeah.
You know, so his information about boxing had to be deep. I know it because he was in there with some of the good ones. So it's great to know that you had him in the corner and stuff. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Thank you so much for this interview, champ. And
no problem.
Giving me this time. I'll make sure we take care of you on the other side. But I want to salute you for the work that you did. If they ain't putting no respect on your name, we put some respect on your name here. 31.
All right.
31 fights, 1 loss. That ain't something easy to do. They don't even know. That's not easy to do right there, especially in the time where you were fighting with the Kwawees and the guys that were really banging out there. You was fighting within that time, and to be undefeated then, you really had to be a special type of fighter. So we salute you.
All right, man.
And appreciate you for your time. And thank you so much, champ.
All right, guys. Thanks. Thank you.
All right.